All right, it's Thursday night at 8. Thursday night. It's Tuesday night at 8 o'clock. We're talking to Joe Kelly about the good news in Greenwich.
Tim, I got to get you a calendar. Holy smokes.
I wish it was.
You're having a rough, exciting day here in the summertime, but it's all good.
This is my Thursday night because tomorrow night I leave for a long weekend. I'm starting my vacation. So mentally, I'm already on Thursday because tomorrow's my Friday.
Oh, fantastic. Well, that's good. Vacation.
That's where that comes from.
Where are you going on vacation, Tim?
I'm going upstate to see Mary Mac. I'll be upstate.
Oh, fantastic.
By Hunter Mountain.
Tell Mary Mac I said hello. Your cousin and my friend from college. Fantastic. Well, look,
yes.
She's great. We love Mary Mac. So tonight we got a great show. Tim, you have some good news for us? Some other things other than vacation stuff?
I do. I have some of the best news ever. See this place right here?
This
is my favorite restaurant in Greenwich. This is the Elm Street Oyster House, which opened up after 8 months of renovations. So they've completely redid the kitchen and spruced up the dining room and all that kind of stuff, and they're open 100% now.
That's looking great.
That is my favorite spot, and it's not because I worked there for 2 years in the 90s.
Well, I'm going to go there coming up very, very soon. We like
Yes.
going out to dinner, certainly in Greenwich, and that place I have not been to for a while. You said it's been closed for how long?
8 months.
8 months.
December 12th, it closed. December 12th. And then they did renovations and, had to go through inspections and stuff again. So, and they changed a little bit of the layout of the kitchen. So I guess they had, to get approvals again. But they're back in business. They were open for 26 years straight. And now they're redoing the place and they're back in business. So
we've been
very
there
happy to see that.
Certainly appreciate their food. So looking forward to having another meal there in the very near future. Another fun thing, Tim, there's a Senate race coming up. It's kind of fun. We have a couple of candidates. We had that senator had some issues. She had to leave the office, and now we have a race that's going to happen real quickly. That happens on August 17th. We have Ryan Fazio against Alexis Javanter. And also we have a third candidate in there too, and we have John Blakely in there as well. So we have 3 candidates running. Tim, you'll get a kick out of this. I've invited 2 of the 3, and I'm going to call John as well, to have them on the Good News game plan next Tuesday. I think it'll be fun because we're going to try to challenge them all because they are politicians, so it's hard for them to talk about good stuff. So I've asked them. Ryan's already agreed, and the other 2, I'm waiting for them to agree because they need to check to make sure that we only talk about good things. So they're not stepping into a trap here because this is a good news show, and all we're going to talk about good news. So they're going to go at each other with good news and positive things. I think that'd be a great experience. So we're trying to set that up for next Tuesday. Hopefully we can get there. But other than that, things are great. We got Fred, our first selectman, Fred Camilla, reported that there's a few RFPs in for that redesign of the ferry parking lot right across from where the ferry is. He said that's going to look great. We have some great suggestions. Some builders have put some stuff. Go ahead, Tim. What do you got?
I have one of those builders going to come on the show.
Oh, fantastic. Maybe we'll get them in maybe next week if we can't get that senatorial good news show going. But if not, the week after that. But you know what? We got to get Phil on. It's our first nautical interview. We have Phil Brous, who is going to come on. He's on a boat right now if they haven't tossed him overboard yet. So I have to get Phil because I know we have to get him on. He's anxious. I know he's really excited. There's Phil. Hello, Phil.
Hello there, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing great. This is so good having our first nautical interview. Now you're out on the Long Island Sound.
Yes, out by Captain's Island.
So you're sitting out there in Captain's Island and you're brave because it's kind of a gray evening. And usually people go out there to watch the sunset, enjoy the really warm weather, but you're a true enthusiast. You're out there in the kind of cool weather with overcast, but you wouldn't miss this for anything, would you?
It's just incredible out here. We've got about 7 boats tied up and everyone's having fun. No rain, so why not be on the water?
Absolutely. Now, Phil, you and I got to meet each other just recently in the Old Man Softball League. Now, you have to be over 50 to play in our league. Is that correct?
That is correct. 49 and a half. We're approaching 50 that year.
49 and a half. And I noticed that a ground ball is one of the most effective weapons in this league because most of the guys have trouble bending over. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct.
So,
the hard parts at this age, but we make it. We get there.
Of course. And I enjoy meeting you because you do lots of good things for the town, which we'll talk about soon. But we have certainly the most powerful and charismatic team in the league. We don't have a victory yet, but we certainly are the most powerful and charismatic team in the league. And Phil, I have to thank you for that because you've brought everyone together to keep everyone motivated. So job well done.
Thank you. You're welcome. And it's a lot of fun to keep everyone together. Most of the guys would rather have our barbecues afterwards, and a win would be nice, and we'll get there. But the barbecues and the camaraderie and is what brings us all together.
Well, that's what's great about Greenwich, and that's why I like having this good news show because you get to talk about good things. And I noticed the first game, you're like, okay, we're not here to play softball. We're here to get together after the games. We rotate whoever brings the beers by in a cooler, and you either. I think we played in the west side of town, and we had pizza, and when we played at Byram, we had the sausage from Scarpelli's. And now there's a game coming up tomorrow, which I've offered to host because it's at Bruce Park, which is right by my house. So we'll have to figure out what special thing we can do with our team there. So that's the good thing that our town has to offer, which we have great things like this. So it's good fun. So Phil, tell us a little something about yourself. Now, did you grow up in town or did you grow up outside of town?
I grew up in Westport and moved here in 1985. Dad figured he had enough of me and told me it was time. And out the door I went and landed at John D'Elia's Honda. And still friends with John D'Elia to this day. And I'm still in the car business, have a store in New Canaan, and about to open up a store in Norwalk on Van Zandt Street. So it's been automobiles since, and it's just a great place to be.
Now, Phil, I didn't want to insult you when I first talked to you about this because I always wanted to have a used car salesman on the show, but you told me I can't have that now because you are not a used car salesman. You are a pre-owned car salesman. Is that correct?
That is 100% correct. Cars went out the door.
So it's sort of like fulfilling this aspiration of mine to have a used car salesman, but not actually there because it's a pre-owned car salesman. Is that correct?
I'll be either one. That's all right.
Excellent. Now, obviously, you're a boater, so you're out on the water, and you grew up. You spent from 1985. Now, did you raise a family here in town?
I did in Old Greenwich. I have a daughter, Catherine, and a son, Sam, and both are luckily working, graduated college, and doing quite well.
And did they go through the Greenwich school systems?
They did. They went through the public school systems and absolutely thrived. It was a great place to be.
Once again, it's a great town, our town. And as you know, I work with the schools as best I can. We have lots of good things going on at the schools. And your kids are another result of how our town supports our school structure. Certainly, we support the private schools too. That's nothing wrong, of course, with going to the private schools. But when you could send your kids to the excellent education opportunity, which we have here in Greenwich, then there's really not a lot of complaints. We need to tweak a few things every once in a while, but certainly I know that my kids, I have one kid still in the school, but the other three have graduated and had a great time with the school. And you have done the same thing, which is great.
Absolutely. It's an amazing place to be, and everyone helps everyone. So it works. The school system is incredible. And,
so tell me about this boating. Now you get out. How often do you get out on the boat? And what can you show us where you are right now with the other boats? How you have a bunch of guys hooked up on the boat with you?
Well, here's Captain's Island. Right behind.
Nice.
And then there we go, the dock. And then over to New York. And then here's the crew.
That's beautiful out there. I'm telling you. Because I sit out there quite often myself, and I thought, if a Tuesday night comes around and I've got to do the Good News game plan, and I'm torn between doing the Good News game plan or going out on a boat, I was afraid maybe the reception wouldn't be good. But Phil, you just proved to me that the reception out there is top notch.
The reception's perfect. It's absolutely incredible. I never thought this would have worked out here, so I was quite excited.
It works out good. Now, tell me, you do some wonderful things for our town. I know we talked about the how you work with GEMS with the defibrillators. You make sure, and you were worried for years that there wasn't defibrillators at some of the places where some of our town's activities take place. And we all know what can happen if somebody has an accident or something happens, and we need that. To wait for an ambulance to come might not be the right timing for that. Tell us about how you got involved in that.
It just came up one day in my head. I just realized that there were no freestanding defibrillators in Greenwich. And I had spoken with the heads of every department in town. We got together. We thought we were going to put it together. Unfortunately, with IT, it took a little longer than we expected. And I'm being hijacked. And all of a sudden I couldn't get it done. It just wasn't possible electronically, I guess, and power and connectivity. And then all of a sudden, Tracy Scheitinger from GEMS moved into the position, and I approached Tracy and said, I have money, I can raise money, and I'd like to put in a defibrillator at Todd's Point. So Friends of Greenwich Point sponsored the first defibrillator. We dropped it in at Todd's Point at the first concession and the second concession. And actually, we just added the main concession. So the back bathroom facing New York City. So we dropped in 3 defibrillators there, freestanding. They all have alarms and cameras, so they can't be stolen, or they can be, but your picture will be taken. And now Binney Park is getting one next, and we're putting in 2 in Byram Shore, and Cos Cob should be installed next week at the Cos Cob Park. So we're slowly and surely raising the money, and that's what I've been doing, looking for money and giving it direct. The money goes directly to GEMS. I do not touch the money. The check is written to GEMS. It's about $4,500 per freestanding defibrillator, and we raise the money, get them installed, and the high school is getting 3. So we're working on that currently, and so that's already been paid for by a fundraiser. But they'll be in soon. They'll be in soon. So,
Phil, is there a website people might be able to go to maybe donate to your cause?
GEMS. If you go to Greenwich Emergency Medical Services, GEMS in town, and go right to their website, you can earmark the project. And what we're trying to do now is identify different spots where the defibrillators need to be, and where we can get power, connectivity, and everything else.
That's fantastic. Just think, though. Now tell me, if it didn't happen, we understand that, but one day it might happen where the good work you're doing might actually save somebody's life, literally. I know sometimes we do stuff that help people, not directly, but this is the kind of thing. And Phil, tell me if there's a story of a direct happening, but we know someday in the future that's going to happen. How good is that going to make you feel?
It's going to be incredible. And it's the one gift that we're giving to the town that we hope will never be used. It's quite unusual. A gift that you don't want used, but it makes sense. But you have to have them. The police have them in their cars, and GEMS has them, and they're in different spots. But if they're not directly there when you need it, and there was a police officer that was down at the point and a woman that was down at the point. And both of them were brought back without defibrillators, but there have been many cases at the point in other places where it happens. And so the biggest obstacle we run into is getting the knowledge of where they are.
Right.
Know where they're placed at both concession stands, at the beach, and then on the back bathroom facing New York City. Most people don't know that. But we're slowly working on that.
Well, good. That's good news. Phil, that's great. Thank you for all the work you do for that. We have now up on the screen, we have GreenwichEMS.org, so people can click onto that and talk about what the good work you're doing as far as having these defibrillators out there. And what we have to certainly hear when one time that actually does bring somebody back from the brink and does save them, that's going to be a fabulous moment for you.
Come with me. I'm leaving, so get off my boat before you come with me.
Are you being kicked off another boat, Phil? All right, Phil, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Tim, do we have somebody else in the green room who could join and ask a question of Phil?
Thank you.
There's Zane and Johnny.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Okay, Phil. They're throwing him off the boat. I told Phil not to go overboard, but he's doing it anyway. All right, Phil, thanks very much. We'll see you. How about that guy, guys? That guy, what he does is he gets defibrillators in these various sites. And could you imagine the thrill that one day he actually saves a life, brings a person back from death, and because of his diligent work and the funds he's raised, he actually saves a life. Wouldn't that be great?
That would be
wow. Props to him.
Absolutely incredible.
Yes, Johnny and Zane, my friends. How are you guys doing?
How are you? How are you? We're well. We're great.
I miss you guys. It was so much fun when you guys were in the office. Then you went off to do your various different things, and you're out rocking the world, turning it upside down. Tell me some good news that you guys have. Some good news relating to Greenwich. Even Zane, you're not in Greenwich. You're in Chicago, right?
No, I'm in Greenwich right now.
Oh, you're in Greenwich right now. Of course, summer vacation. So give us some good news about Greenwich, gentlemen.
Coach, there's almost too much to speak on. First, I want to quickly touch on the fact that our days in the office, there genuinely isn't a day that doesn't go by where I don't reflect on our time there. Like very shortly after I went to college, I had actually introduced myself to every single person that I came across on campus because of the courage that I built cold calling individuals, right down here in the office. And that's something that wouldn't have happened if, I'm in the office and Aspire. And then taking a look with my relationship with Zane, me and Zane have always been good buddies, but now I'm going to speak for myself. I would go to the ends of earth for Zane. We're great buddies now. And with that, we've been doing a lot of projects and a lot of things that I'm very proud of so far. And, I have aspirations to continue. And Zane has worked diligently on.
Well, you get, and Zane, what do you have to say about the excitement of things going on so far and the good news about stuff that you're working on?
Yeah, well, Johnny and I mean, Coach, you know this. I don't know if the broader audience knows this, but we're working together to raise an investment fund. And this past year, we've been running a trial, and our trial is up 110% year to date. So pretty successful year. It's somewhat abnormal just because the market's been doing really well, and we have a leveraged beta exposure to the market. We're very much exposed to the market. So it's been good this year. Things are good. I have an internship at Northwestern University in their endowment office. I've been able to meet a bunch of fund managers, things like that. A couple of guys in Stanford, actually, throwing up a medical-based hedge fund that I got to talk to. So overall, it's been a great time. We've been having, a lot of exposure to the industry and real world things, which is something you don't always get as part of like a school education. And that's been great.
Well, I'll tell you, the thrill I have watching you guys launch. Obviously, I just had a small part in the stuff that you guys are involved in. Just the fact that I could have just charged you up to direct you out to do what you're doing. Johnny out there on the sales side of things, Zane, the analytical side of things, finding out each other's strengths, combining together to make a team, working together. Well, I guess that's the part we worked on in the sports side of things when we were working on the rugby team and you guys were the athletes. But then when we were sat time in the office and we had the commodities brokerage firm, and then we also talked about investments and got you excited about stuff. You looked at the investments, Johnny, about for the campaign when you just brought your incredible charismatic personality, applied that to asking people to vote, whether it be for me or just to vote in general was the first thing, which was the first priority for us. But for me was the second priority. But just the fact you got in front of people and you found yourself. And then you guys found a way of doing it together as a team, like we taught in the sports program, and then using the internship to just launch and supercharge you guys into life. That just excites me. The sky's the limit for you guys. I'm so looking forward to keeping my eye on how you guys do.
Thank you. And I'm going to speak again, like your influence and with just me first as a student athlete and me telling me not to do, knucklehead things and telling me when I'm doing the right thing. Super, super encouraging. And then again, like doubling down in the office, like all these experiences have really come to shape me, especially in my early adulthood. With one, my education, and two, just surrounding myself with the like-minded, ambitious, hungry people, and I'm just incredibly thankful for that. for really everything. So thank you on that. Thank you.
No, please. It gives us so much pleasure to see this. I don't need any thank you. I just enjoy working with people who just start showing early signs of success. And it really makes me feel good, makes everyone involved feel good, makes whoever might be viewing out there understand that we have some greatness coming out of our town of Greenwich because we work together, and with working together, we could just launch into anything. So Zane, tell us more about the program. You're involved in the investment side of things, and more, maybe get a little specific, because I know people love investing nowadays. So maybe if it's not top secret information, I know it might very well be, but it's not top secret information. Give us a little rundown of how you're up 110% in just 7 months or so. That's fantastic. Tell us a little more details on that. I'm excited to hear that.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, just in terms of origination, right? I do not have, thousands of researchers working for me to do diligence. I don't think I can get an edge by like picking stocks and things like that, like typical hedge funds do. And so I relied on what is, almost assuredly true throughout, history, which is that on average, right, the S&P 500, which is a market index, rises about 10% a year. And so I decided, well, what vehicle can I have that basically just bets that the market doesn't crash, right? Because in every cycle, you'll be right 9 out of 10 times, and then you'll lose, 1 out of 10 times. And then from that, right, we use equity derivatives that are tied to the S&P 500. So put options on the S&P 500, which are, a type of derivative. And just a metaphor for that, all I'm doing is I'm selling insurance contracts on the market index, and collecting premiums from that. And there exists a premium because people tend to pay more for protection than they would for, upside gain from like call options and things like that. And so we provide liquidity to those funds who need to purchase that protection. And then the rest of our strategy, just, that alone works 9 out of 10 times. And then the rest of our time is pretty much focused on, in that 1 out of 10, how do we make sure that, we can sustain those losses and not blow up? And, that's been a topic of debate between, potential investors and us. A lot of people don't think it's, what we do suffices. A lot of people think it's good. I think, we have some, room to work there, but that we're actually, hitting our targets in terms of, how we can actually hedge that exposure from selling those contracts. But that's just high level. I could get into option Greeks and pricing theory and stuff like that, but, I don't want to hit it too hard, but, that's broadly what we do. And, through that, at any given time, you could have anywhere from, 2 to 15 times leverage on the index, which is pretty crazy. But over time, it tends to, decrease to about, an average of about 7 to 6 times. So if the market, does what it does on average, 9 out of 10 times and rises, then you get years like this where you're up 110%. When you have, a COVID or a 2008, fingers crossed the hedges work the way they're supposed to work and things don't get too out of whack. And that, again, we do all of our diligence on making sure that, if we do sustain a loss, it's not something that's going to, bankrupt the fund or anything like that. So.
Well, now, Johnny, you're in the sales side of things. So you worked on the teamwork where we're saying you do the analytics and you bounce things back and forth off each other about your strategy going forward, about market exposure, how far we're going to go up, where we're going to go, and sort of predict the market and set up a strategy for that. But Johnny, you spent a lot of time on the sales side, getting out to the world and raising the funds for your fund. Now, what we want to do is maybe help you there, Johnny. Now, do you have a website you can go to that people can maybe get more information, or a way of contacting you specifically so they could say, we like what you're saying, we want to hear more about it, maybe we'd like to get involved? Do you have something like that for us?
As of right now, I just use my personal email, which is going to be Jonathan, JONATHAN, DALEXANDRE, Jonathan Alexandri at gmail.com. Feel free to reach out. We're always excited to speak to new investors. But so far, you could reach out to myself. You could reach out to Zane. Our phone numbers, I'm sure if, someone reached out to you, you delegate them to us. But we're working on more so, getting in front of the right investors and, people who could be incredibly advantageous to us, more so than, publicizing what we're doing. We're incredibly excited and we're incredibly proud of what we've done so far, but we don't want to get too distracted by, people who might dissuade us from our path.
Well, when you came in and discussed this just recently in the office here, I was so happy to hear you guys are doing well. I was so happy to hear that you put that together. And the next step is going to be exciting because I believe you said you're opening things up for further investment in the next year. So you keep it a closed-end fund for the year, right? Is that what your plan was, Zane, to do that? And then in the new year, you're able to bring more investors in?
Yeah, exactly. We're what we have right now is our trial fund, which is going to conclude in September, in the middle of September, and then we're basically going to be collecting capital and things like that from September to December. Right now, we're gauging interest in that phase, and then we'll launch in the new year, and that'll be for 2022.
Now, let me make sure everybody's aware of what we have here. We don't have long-term market professionals that worked at Goldman Sachs for 3 or 4 years, then went on to do their very own. You guys graduated 2 years ago. Your sophomore is going into junior year of college. Is that correct?
Going into sophomore year.
Oh, only sophomore year. Okay, so you just finished your first year of college. You already have a trial fund set up. What are the people at the university in the entry-level classes of the finance classes you're taking right now? What are they saying when you tell them of your success so far? What's the reaction?
I mean, they're definitely pretty surprised. I think most of the kids, at my university are probably first off, they're still using Robinhood, which I would never recommend, but they're out buying GameStop and AMC, and they don't know what options are. So I think, they're pretty impressed, but we've gotten a lot of people encouraging us to keep moving forward. Cause it's pretty inspiring to some of these kids who, don't necessarily think that they have the power to do things like this, but I would say that they certainly do.
Well, what I like about it, it's a cause that here, and this is the Greenwich Good News Game Plan, and most of the people watch this are from Greenwich. And you guys you could actually be hometown heroes if you bring this to the next level. I know that everyone in our community would be rooting for you guys to do well. You're known well around the community. You now show a bit of success starting out here with your first opportunity, and people would just be rooting for you and love to invest in this project. So I'm really excited about what happens when you take the next step. I think it's thrilling to watch, and it's a great feel good story about two Greenwich kids and who just did focused in school. Zane more on the I guess on the higher grade level, where Johnny's a good student but more charismatic. Zane wanted to take advantage of John's charisma, and Johnny take advantage of Zane's advantage is not the right word, but team up with is the right
opportunity of
with Zane's analytic skills. So the two together just make a winning program, and it's just exciting for all of us, and it's an example for all of the kids at Greenwich High School to follow. So we'll have to keep our eye on this one and keep focusing on this.
Thank you, Coach. I appreciate it.
Oh, good stuff. Now, what's plans? Now, you're both involved in stuff here in the summer, other than your actual fund. What are things you're involved in now? And we'll conclude with things that are important to you and that you're working on right now.
I'll take the floor with this one. As a matter of fact, I'm training a football camp for the Bank Raiders, and so every day for the past a week and a half, and going to be concluding this week, I've been with 14 to 17 kids. Just training them on how to be better football players, and most importantly, better athletes. And I'm trying to really instill in them what it means to work hard and what it means to get better. Just today, I had a young youth, a little upset that I paired him up with someone who's a little bit more skilled than himself. But then I told him this, that person in the 8th grade while he was in the 5th grade. And I said, if you're competing with these kids now, imagine the animal you'll become when the time is right. And so from his discouragement, he grew a lot of excitement and courage to get up and go again. And that's just me doing my due diligence, paying back what was paid to me when I was in that place not too long ago.
Fantastic. And Zane, your internships, your involvement with multiple firms here in the summer, give us a little more color on that.
Yeah, sure. So I'm doing, I guess, two things that I guess are internships. I'm, a summer analyst at the Northwestern University's endowment. So that's all the way in Chicago, but it's remote, where I just do diligence on funds, things like that, update spreadsheets. junior level work, but also, I get to meet a ton of managers, many of which are local managers, since Greenwich is a huge hub for this industry. And then after that, I'll be at a Morgan Stanley learning about their business. That'll be like in the latter half of the summer, just trying to get more exposure. That's really the idea. And then when I'm not doing any of that, I'm also working on a couple algorithms for myself, just, learning how to trade algorithmically, because I think that's kind of the future, automate those processes. And I also host a bit of a summer seminar series on finance, trying to teach kids our age about, different, strategies, but also different tools that they can use. Because I think it's just an underutilized component of this town that I don't think a lot of people our age really understand. And I'm just trying to give that back.
Fantastic. Guys, it's great. Thank you for coming on again. We always like when you visit, and we always want to hear what you're up to. This is a great step. We've moved forward. Tim, you got to have some questions of our guys here. Is that impressive stuff or what?
Got, well, stock tips we could talk after, but I'll just say thank you very much to Jonathan, because Lauren is in the camp that you're involved with, and I think Will was hanging out with you guys on Monday night too. Yeah. So he's been trying to get there as much as he can around his job. But Lauren's having a great time. She's on the Bank Raiders. She's going to be a senior on that team this year. So all good stuff. She comes home tired and is having a lot of fun. So
yeah, let me comment this really quickly. She's better than her peers. She's better than her peers, and significantly so. So I'm excited to see what she has to bring.
Well, she works on it. She works very hard. She, it's well, being a girl on a predominantly boys team, she knows she has to work harder, so that she can be better, so that there's really no question on why she's there. Mm-hmm. She doesn't want to be just a girl on the team. She really loves to play too. So it's great. It's great, and she's having a lot of fun. So thank you very much for stepping up this summer. She's having a good time.
Well, Tim, I'm going to wind up this wonderful show with talking about the town party. Now, today, or was it yesterday, they announced the bands that are going to be playing for the town party. Oh, it's some lineup. Now, it might not be exciting to you guys, but we got the Eagles, which is great. We have the Zach Brown Band, which is awesome. Preservation Hall Jazz Band. Tim, are you familiar with them?
I've heard of them.
Yep. So they're good as well. And what else? Who else do we have on that band playing? Is there anyone else? We have Jones, Caroline Jones, I believe, will also be performing. And usually they put some other exciting things up. That's on Sunday, the 5th of September. So the town party is back, and looking forward to that. So that's going to be great. That's more for us older folks there, Zane and Johnny. So it's more stuff that we'll appreciate. But you guys can maybe pop in as well. But we'll be having fun there, rocking ourselves. And Greenwich will be back. So it's all good. So thanks, guys, for coming. We enjoy. Always good to catch up with you guys. And we'll talk to you soon. See you guys.
See you later.
Thank you, Coach. Have a good one.
Bye-bye. See ya.